will now present the Articles of Freedom, the work of the Continental Congress of 2009. Anisha?
Good afternoon, Minnesota. Our message today is not about the resuscitation of a dead Constitution. The Constitution still towers over the wrecks of our national life. Resurrection, not resuscitation, is our motto. We are not fanatics. We are not extremists. We do not seek revolution or anarchy. We are those whose heartbeat is one with the soul of America, her Constitution. As a people, we need to ask, who are we? Who do we want to be? What kind of country do we want to leave to our children and future generations of Americans? Shall we let our Constitution and our essential principles be murdered by the powers of the world? Will we tolerate tyranny merely to be comfortable? What does a free people do when confronted with a government that refuses to honor and may even systematically scheme to evade the boundaries and limitations established for it by we the people? If the people fail to act, we will end a chapter in human history that began when a people reigned sovereign and the chains of a written constitution limited and bound their government to their service. We have a choice. We have a choice. More and more of us with each waking hour have requested answers, but we do not get them. We have tried to stop wrongs taking place, but the violations continue. Now we offer these instructions to our government to obey the Constitution, which after all is a strongly worded set of principles to govern the government, not the people. By the terms and provisions of our Constitution, the people have formed the government and enabled the government to act in a certain way. However, the people have also purposely and markedly restricted and prohibited the government from acting in certain other ways. We meddle in the internal affairs of foreign countries and apply our armed forces in constitutionally unauthorized hostilities overseas, resulting in a chain reaction of direct and indirect effects. We are on the brink of a meltdown of a monetary system based on the endless conjuring of debt. We have seen an enormous security system arise before our very eyes to protect us, quote unquote, us from terrorists. Yet in doing so, our government is seizing our most fundamental rights and depriving us of their protections. We are losing our freedom to finance all these schemes. The IRS and the Department of Justice exert intimidation by and the force of an ever-expanding policing network to enforce and prosecute offenses of tax laws. Yet they refuse to cite the specific legal authority that purportedly allows them to enforce those laws. The nature of our resistance is clear. It is not an act of anarchy or rebellion. Rather, it is an act of resistance to a government that is violating the purposes for which the Creator, through the people and the Constitution, has ordained civil government. We are not anti-government. We are not anti-war. We are not anti-tax. We are not anti-law enforcement. We are pro-Constitution and anti-fraud. We are pursuing peaceful reconciliation and petition. It is the President, the Congress, and the courts who have refused to respond to our petitions for redress of our grievances in violation of the First Amendment and who continue to violate and undermine the supreme law of our land. We have no desire for resistance or violence of any kind. However, in the people's peaceful attempts to have answers, the people's petitions and appeals have been met with force, and in some instances with near military force. The defense of our homes, families, properties, and possessions is a most important point to us. It is our heritage. It is our right. There is not the most distant thought of subverting the government or hurting the interest of the people of America, but of defending our personal rights, freedoms, and liberties from unjust encroachment. There was not the least desire of withdrawing our allegiance from the leaders of the branches until it became absolutely necessary, and indeed it has been their own choice. Our political leaders know that our cause is just. They know that we, the people, struggle for that freedom for which all men are entitled, that we struggle against oppression, seizure, plunder, extortion, and more than savage barbarity. We are not moved by any light or hasty suggestion of anger or revenge. Through every possible change of fortune, we adhere peaceably to this determination. Our property and happiness have been attacked. Our self-defense against an aggressor government is righteous. Our civil action is for the cause of civil justice, a righteous struggle undertaken in defense of our property, our happiness, and our families. It is to oppose the invasions of usurped power. We will bravely suffer present hardships and face future dangers to secure the rights of humanity and the blessings of freedom for generations yet unborn. It is our obligation as responsible citizens of this country to set a proper value upon and to defend to the utmost our just rights and the blessings of life and liberty. Without this personal commitment, a few unprincipled individuals would tyrannize the people and make the passive multitude the slaves of their power. Thus it is that civil action is not only justifiable, but an indefensible duty to correct these wrongs. It is upon these principles that we are resisting what is taking place in our government and will not back down. It is upon we wait the day when the system of governance in this nation is restored and the Constitution is obeyed. We will be a positive and prosperous nation. Today, delegates to the Continental Congress 2009 and others from each of the several states serve this document titled Articles of Freedom. And with its remedial instructions on our federal government and state government officials, placing them on notice that we, the free people of America, believe them to be in violation of their oath of office and the Constitution for the United States of America.